Long game number 2, 5:30 p.m. on the West Coast. We have a NFC West matchup, third time this year. Seahawks, Niners in Seattle. Actually, the game's at 5. Excuse me, -7.5 for Seattle. Another 1-6 matchup. Niners plus 290 on the money line. 45.5 is also the total. This is the game that officially put me in the pickle.
Really?
Well, at first glance, it's like, oh yeah, of course, I'm gonna take the Niners. A little revenge from that game a couple weeks ago. Kyle Shanahan calling a masterful game against the Eagles defense. And then the more that I thought about it, it's like, well, they also kind of dumped the Gatorade. They also lost George Kittle, which my AI assistant thinks is worth 2 to 2.5 points on the spread, which feels a little
crazy.
And if the San Francisco defense, which is even leakier than the last time they faced, I know the Fred Warner might be out there as like a token player. I don't know if you heard Trent Williams talk about it. He's like, he doesn't really need to play. He just needs to be in uniform to help the troops out. So I don't really expect Fred Warner to make an impact on this game, honestly. And with the way that San Francisco has been getting beat, I kind of have slowly been buying myself into the idea that, well, I know what the market's telling me with 7.5. It's saying that this number is going to go up before it comes down. And so far, what have we seen? Well, there's no San Francisco support. Otherwise, this would be 7. So I say all of that to say, what do you like, Sean?
Well, Ryan, let's look at the Seattle Seahawks in games where they covered this number 7.5. And that to me is they won in overtime in an insane game, 38-37 versus the Rams. Didn't cover the 7.5. They did win and cover against Max Brosmer 26-0.
That counts.
Yeah,
counts.
But not a great game.
That counts.
Not a great game from old Sammy D there. 44-22 against the Cardinals. Now 27-19 against the Texans, but that they tried to give the Texans that game.
Right, yep.
If you remember that, they lost. They lost to the Bucks 35-38. They beat the Saints again. That was when Saints had Rattler. And then they lost to the 49ers week 1 when the 49ers were able to get some pressure and able to turn Sam Darnold over. Now, to me, this, again, obviously I was never going to play the 49ers. I am biased towards my Eagles, but that's when you should be playing the 49ers is when they're a dog. And we see this all the time. The 49ers, if they make the playoffs, they make it to the conference championship game. And I think this could be another one of those, especially with the 7.5 points. You look at Sam Darnold. Ryan, league worst 20 turnovers this season. With 20 turnovers.
I feel like you're framing data right now.
How so?
You're only focusing on the bad.
No, say league worst 20 turnovers. The only player in at least the last 35 years to lead the NFL in turnovers and win the Super Bowl was
Eli Manning.
27 turnovers, 2007 Giants. And as much as I think this Seahawks defense is really good, they're going to come to play. They do have a good home environment. Man, let's just Christian McCaffrey. Just keep throwing the ball to Christian McCaffrey. That's one of the weaknesses of Seattle is pass catching running backs.
They dealt with it last time.
Yeah, they're also not great. Again, I think last game was kind of a different situation. Biggest difference is Trent Williams. He's back. He played well against the Eagles, and I think just being able to give Purdy enough of that time, and I don't know, whatever it is, Shanahan. I mean, he outcoached Vic Fangio as much as Vic Fangio I thought had a good season.
That part of it is the part where I'm concerned because it felt very much like they spent a lot of effort and energy building this scheme to defeat that, which in 2 games versus the Mike McDonald scheme, this year at least, they have not looked close to defeating the scheme, I guess. And so, I also think we're ignoring you're completely throwing out the same rest disparity.
No, that's on my list.
Okay.
I do think that's, and
so for a really banged up team coming off a emotional win that they were very clearly very pleased with themselves to have defeated the Eagles in Philly, and they lose one of their spiritual leaders in TEU superstar George Kittle.
Yeah. I just, on the other side, I look at Sam Darnold laying points. If I go down betting against Sam Darnold as a 7.5 point favorite, then so be it, Ryan. I'll die on my sword. Because I'm not, you would have to pay me a lot of money. You know, we talk about the free bets you get over on Novig, promo code SGPN, Kalshi, you get some free trades. I'd need a lot of free trade to get down on the Seahawks team laying the 7.5. And maybe it's the sharp side, but come on, it's Sam Darnold. I watched Sam Darnold last year. Also, just in my own memory, I got to remind myself these wild card weekends. I didn't have a good wild card weekend last year. I didn't have a great one this year. But the two spots I crushed was one of which was just fading Sam Darnold in his first playoff game. We get another 14-3 Sam Darnold team going, but this time he's a bigger favorite.
Only time. I mean, he's unique in that sense.
Also, we watched that Rams game. That guy shit the bed. He tried to give the game away, but the Rams pass defense let him back in.
I got to pull up. Now you've gotten in my head again differently. All right, I did. Yeah, that's not right.
Jake Tonga is, I think, is going to have a big game. Brock Purdy is a dog. That's when you play him. Give me the San Francisco 49ers. Ryan, are you out of that pickle yet? What are you doing?
Give me Seattle.
Oh, okay. There
again, I think the chat. I saw a couple of people in the chat pointed out, but I think you're completely like Trent Williams being out there, big plus. But the emotional drain of the victory, the rest disparity, and the fact I do think losing George Kittle impacts their ability to run what they want to run as much as Trent Williams. And so I do think that's fair. Banged up, short week. And I was using a similar handicap. I think at least for me, and I get the case. You're laying a big number. I'm laying a big number
for Seattle. I think this is the fact that it's a division game. You know how to play him. You know how to turn over Sam Darnold. This game's going to come down to a big Darnold turnover.
Yeah, if Purdy lights up that Seattle defense in the same way that he was able to light up the Eagles defense, I'll just be surprised. Like it's a bunch of I don't want to call them replacement dudes, but it's now with Kittle off the field. It is pretty much a bunch of replacement dudes with Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, and Brock Purdy.
Also, I'm not going to take a head coach making his playoff debut late in 7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that mistake again.